The lecture hall fell silent as Commander Vrelk dimmed the lights. 83 cadets from the Galactic Defense Academy sat in their hover seats, antennae twitching with anticipation. This was supposed to be a routine lesson on pre-space civilizations and their primitive conflict resolution methods. Nobody expected what came next. Today, Vrelk announced, his three eyes scanning the room with something that looked uncomfortably like concern. We will observe archived combat footage from Species 7 Alpha. You may know them better as humans. A few cadets chuckled. Humans? Those bizarre bipedal creatures who had only achieved faster-than-light travel 17 cycles ago. The same ones who brought something called coffee to the last diplomatic summit and caused a minor medical emergency when Ambassador Throk tried it. Cadet Mira, a Zinthari with lavender skin and exceptional grades in tactical theory, leaned toward her friend. This should be entertaining. I heard humans still use projectile weapons. Primitive, whispered Jorik, a four-armed Kelshan who consistently ranked first in their class. Absolutely primitive. Commander Vrelk pressed a button. The holographic display flickered to life. The first footage showed something called World War II. Earth year 1944. A beach. Actually, no, calling it a beach was generous. It was a meat grinder disguised as a coastline. Humans in metal helmets jumped from boats into water that turned red within seconds. Explosions tore through their ranks. Bodies fell. And yet, they kept running forward. Not away. Forward. Mira's confident smirk vanished. Note their lack of shielding technology, Vrelk commented, his voice carefully neutral. Note their medical limitations. A single projectile can cause fatal damage. They possess no regenerative capabilities. A cadet in the back row made a gagging sound. The footage continued. Humans crawling through mud. Humans charging machine gun nests with nothing but determination and explosives. Humans pulling wounded comrades to safety while being shot at. Not because military protocol demanded it, because they wanted to. Commander, a small voice called out. It was Pip, a normally cheerful Quilnari whose species had evolved past physical conflict 3,000 years ago. Why? Why are they still moving? After being injured? Their pain receptors should incapacitate them. Excellent question, Cadet Pip. Humans possess something they call adrenaline. It overrides their nervous system. They also have psychological conditioning they refer to as duty, honor, and stubbornness. We have struggled to translate these concepts accurately. Jorik's forearms had gone completely slack. This is barbaric. This is humanity, Vrelk corrected. The next clip showed Vietnam, then Iraq, then Syria. Each conflict more technologically advanced, yet somehow more horrifying. Humans fighting in deserts where temperatures would kill most species within hours. Humans fighting in jungles where visibility dropped to mere meters. Humans fighting in cities, building by building, room by room. One particular segment showed a human medic, a young female named Harper according to the subtitles, running through active gunfire to reach a wounded soldier. She took a bullet to her leg, fell, got back up, dragged the wounded soldier to cover, treated his injuries while treating her own, then went back out for another. Pause, Vrelk commanded. I want you to understand something. Harper was not military personnel. She was a civilian volunteer, 22 Earth years old. She survived this engagement and returned for 2 more tours of duty. The lecture hall had gone deathly quiet. Several cadets looked green. Well, greener than usual. Now, Vrelk continued, and something in his tone made everyone sit straighter. We arrive at the incident that caused the Galactic Council to reconsider humanity's threat assessment. The hologram shifted. Modern footage. Earth year 2031. A human colony on Mars. Back when they were still struggling with basic terraforming. An equipment malfunction threatened to depressurize 3 habitat domes. 17 minutes of oxygen remaining. 23 people inside. Standard protocol would be evacuation of salvageable personnel, minimize losses, file the incident report. The humans had other ideas. 2 engineers, Marcus and Yuki, suited up. Went outside. Manually welded the breach shut while their air supplies depleted. Mission control screamed at them to abort. They ignored it. Finished the repair with 40 seconds of oxygen remaining. Saved everyone. When interviewed later, Marcus shrugged and said, seemed like the thing to do. Mira stood up abruptly. Her chair clattered backward. Commander, I need to be excused. Denied. Sit down, cadet. She sat, but her lavender complexion had turned almost white. The final footage rolled. Recent. Very recent. The Korthax incursion at the human Zinthari border colony. Everyone in the room knew this story, or thought they did. Official reports said human forces had defended their position until galactic reinforcements arrived. The actual footage told a different story: 37 humans. Mixed military and civilian. Against 400 Korthax raiders equipped with plasma weapons and battle armor. The math was simple. The humans should have died in the first 5 minutes. They held for 6 hours. They used tactics that made no logical sense. They set traps using mining equipment. They turned agricultural fertilizer into explosives. One human, a farmer named Old Tom, actually died because he manually detonated an explosive while standing next to it, taking 17 Korthax soldiers with him. His last transmitted words were, "Tell my daughter I left the tractor keys in the barn." The silence in the lecture hall was suffocating. Commander Vrelk paused the footage. On screen, frozen in time, a human soldier named Lieutenant Ramos crouched behind debris, blood streaming down her face, grinning like she was having the time of her life. Not smiling, grinning, while being shot at. The Korthax eventually retreated, Vrelk said quietly. Not because of casualties, though humans inflicted 83 confirmed eliminations. They retreated because their combat algorithms could not predict human behavior. Their tactical computers literally crashed trying to process decisions that violated every established pattern of self-preservation. Jorik raised one trembling arm. "Commander, I do not understand. Why do they fight like this? What evolutionary advantage does suicidal bravery provide?" Vrelk's expression was unreadable. We have asked human scientists this exact question. Their answers varied. Some mentioned tribal evolution. Others discussed something called spite. One researcher simply said, and I quote, "Because someone has to, and it might as well be me." End quote. A cadet near the front, a usually silent Morphean named Kel, spoke up. "Commander, with respect, this changes everything we have learned about combat theory. Every tactical principle we have studied assumes rational self-interest. Humans appear to operate on insanity?" Mira offered weakly. "Passion," Vrelk corrected. "Humans feel things more intensely than most species. Love, rage, loyalty, grief. These emotions do not diminish their combat effectiveness. They enhance it. A human fighting for their family is approximately 3.7 times more dangerous than baseline. A human fighting to avenge a fallen comrade." He paused. We stopped measuring after the numbers became statistically absurd. The hologram shifted one final time. Current date. A Galactic Council meeting. Human Ambassador Torres stood at the podium, looking tired but composed. The debate concerned mandatory military service for all member species, humans included. "Let me be clear," Torres said, her voice carrying that peculiar human mix of politeness and threat. "Earth will contribute to galactic defense. Gladly. But understand what you are asking for. You are not getting soldiers who will follow optimal tactical doctrine. You are getting soldiers who will hold impossible positions because they promised they would. You are getting soldiers who will violate direct orders to save a single life. You are getting soldiers who consider acceptable losses a personal insult." She smiled. It was not a comforting expression. "You are getting humans. We fight dirty. We fight angry. We fight scared. But we fight. And we do not stop until either we win, or there is nothing left of us to continue. So yes, Ambassador Quillnex, we will join your military coalition. Just be very, very certain you point us at the right enemy." The footage ended. Lights came up. 83 cadets sat in stunned silence, processing what they had witnessed. Commander Vrelk walked to the front of the room. "In 2 cycles, human instructors will arrive to begin joint training exercises. You will learn their methods. You will learn their mindset. Some of you will not survive the psychological adjustment. This is not hyperbole. Last year, 40% of advanced cadets withdrew from the program after human combat integration training." Pip raised a shaking appendage. "Commander, why? Why expose us to this?" "Because," Vrelk said simply, "humanity is now part of the Galactic Defense Force." Which means 2 things. First, you may serve alongside them. You need to understand what that means, what they are capable of, how they think. He paused, his 3 eyes scanning each face in turn. Second, and more importantly, We may someday face an enemy that views us the way we once viewed humans. Primitive, manageable, weak. And when that day comes, when some hostile force decides the Galactic Council is easy prey, I want them to make a fatal miscalculation. I want them to encounter humans in our ranks. I want them to learn, as the Korthax did, as countless Earth armies learned throughout history, that humans do not fight like rational beings. His voice dropped to barely above a whisper. They fight like humans. And nothing in this galaxy is more terrifying than a human who has decided that winning matters more than surviving. The lecture ended. Cadets filed out slowly, quietly. Mira stopped at the door, turned back. Commander? How many cadets typically resign after this lecture? Vrelk checked his data pad. Historical average? 32%. Today. He looked up. I will let you know tomorrow, cadet. That night, 41 resignation requests hit the Academy's administrative system. 41 cadets who had watched Earth's war footage and realized they did not have what it takes to stand beside creatures who treat certain death as merely another tactical consideration. The remaining 42 cadets, however, showed up early for breakfast the next morning. They sat together, talking in low voices, reviewing the footage on personal devices, trying to understand, trying to learn, because in 2 cycles, the humans were coming. And something had changed in those 42 cadets. They had seen impossible courage. They had seen unreasonable determination. They had seen what happens when a species decides that some things matter more than survival, and they needed, to understand how to carry even a fraction of that fire. Commander Vrelk watched them from across the cafeteria and allowed himself a small smile. 41 resignations hurt, but 42 volunteers who truly understood what they were signing up for. That was how you built an unstoppable military force. That was how you learned to fight like humans.